Up next, we have a couple side dishes that you could put with almost any meal, no matter what you're cooking. Ham, chicken, beef. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne Dede.
And coming up on today's show, we got a couple side dishes. I know one, our broccoli rice casserole, has been a family favorite for years.
It has.
And you make it, and it's wonderful. From young to old, everybody likes it.
It's very good, easy to make, and it's always great when you make a little bigger batch and have some leftovers because it heats up so good.
Well, it can be a meal in itself right there.
Just about, yes.
And then we're going to try a new souffle with sweet potatoes tonight as well.
Sweet potato souffle. And that recipe I did get from my sister Jo.
Okay.
And we had that at Thanksgiving, and it was a great hit.
Okay.
And sweet potatoes, I think we think of sweet potatoes more for holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And we really shouldn't, because sweet potato is really a healthy, good potato to use. And you can get it in the grocery store all year round.
Absolutely.
So we should be making more use of that, potato.
Okay.
So, okay, what we're going to start here with, I cooked some sweet potatoes.
Okay.
And what you do is I took 4 large sweet potatoes, just cut them up, diced them, and then you boil them just like you do your other potatoes, just till they're soft. So I did that and got them drained well. So I'm going to put them in my mixture because we're going to add a couple of ingredients to this.
Okay.
And again, something like this would be so easy to make the day before if you really wanted to, and then put it in the oven the day that you're using it. So, say you're making a nice Thanksgiving meal or any meal, and something you can just have done before the day, that you don't have everything all at once and you're kind of overwhelmed. So that always makes it nice. So, okay, so I'm going to just put that on low and just get that mashed. We add a stick of butter.
Okay.
So that's a 1/2 cup. And the potatoes, you can see, are still steaming, so that butter will just melt.
That won't take long.
No. And we're going to add 2 eggs. Without the shells.
Don't need any crunchy.
All right, we don't need that. We're going to have some pecans on top, so that'll give our crunchy. We don't want the shells. Okay, so put that in there. Okay, set that aside. We're going to put a cup of sugar in.
Okay.
A teaspoon of vanilla.
Okay.
And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful with that.
Okay, I'm going to just scrape that here a little bit and whip that up a little bit more. And then, of course, and then we bake this for 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay. So pretty easy ingredients to assemble. Just a little bit of cooking time to get those potatoes soft to begin with, but once you peel and cube them, there's not much.
Then you don't have a lot of extra work. And that's why, like I said, it's a nice dish to make the day before.
Sure.
And then, when you're serving, you don't have to mash potatoes or all of this. It just flows a little bit easier. Okay, let's see how that is here now. I think that's mashed up nicely.
Okay.
So it was kind of interesting on Thanksgiving. Like I said, my sister had made this, and my niece Karen and her husband had come and, you know, just he don't like sweet potatoes. He never eats sweet potatoes. And we were all done eating, and at the very end, my sister goes, well, you can taste a little bite just to see. And he took a bite, and, oh, this is good. I don't like sweet potatoes. He says, it's almost like a dessert. So it went over very well.
Maybe it's the color that puts some people off. I don't know. But sweet potatoes are good. Well, and if you like to dine at Texas Roadhouse and you get a loaded baked sweet potato, they're pretty good.
I have never had a sweet potato there with a loaded. Oh, okay. So you can put this, this is about a 9x9 casserole.
Okay.
If you don't, 9x13 will work well, or however. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of brown sugar.
Okay.
And a cup of flour.
A half a cup of flour, right?
Oh, yeah, a half a cup of flour. Good. Nice catch.
All right. That's a pretty small cup.
Yeah, a cup of brown sugar and half a cup of flour.
Okay.
Let's just blend that here. A little bit there. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And, we put this on top, and it makes, our crunch.
Okay.
On that. And that's just really, really good. So I just want to kind of blend this up a little bit more. And then you use a cup of pecans.
Okay.
You chop pecans in there, and you certainly, I suppose you could use walnuts too if you like, just whatever your preference is. But the recipe does, it's pecans.
Okay.
So we've got that blended there. So I'm going to add my nuts, and I'll probably just dig out a spoon here now.
I'm glad nobody in our immediate family has nut allergies, because I sure like them.
Oh,
I have to be a little bit more careful if I'm cooking on my husband's side, because there are several that have nut allergies, and it's still good, but
yes,
like those nuts.
it just gives it a good flavor. And like I said, so many things, when they say that gives that nutty flavor to it, it's just really pleasing to that palate. So I just want to blend that good, and we'll put that on top. And then we bake it at 350, and I'm going to double check my oven and see where we're at, and I'm going to put that on for that. Okay. I think it's already telling me it's hot enough.
Okay. And I could see where Jesse would have said this was kind of a dessert, because that's a nice, almost like streusel for the topping. And
yes. But it just gave it such a nice finishing, touch to that. So, okay, so now we're going to just spread that on top here.
And then that bakes up, and it has that nice crunch on top after it's all done.
It does. So if you would have this in a 9x13 pan and you have it spread out a little bit more, you certainly have enough, we'll just dump it on there, crunch, to go all the way around.
Sure.
Yeah, so then we want to get that in the oven, and like I said, we're going to bake that 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll have you open up the oven for me. And we'll get that in there. And the next dish we're going to do is, like I said, that broccoli cheese casserole.
Okay.
With the rice. And that is an excellent one too.
Okay.
Whatever. So we'll come over here to the stove. I've got a package of cut broccoli, but we're going to, I just used minute rice, so I have my water boiled already. So I'm gonna just get my minute rice in there.
Okay. About 2 cups.
2 cups. And you know, if you have a little bit more, whatever, you know, it's fine. And there's times when, you know, I do want a little bit bigger recipe. I will add a little bit more, you know, rice. Because when you're making this dish too, nothing has to be exact. You know? You can add a little bit more cheese to it or anything like that. So we're going to start with a stick of butter.
Okay.
Put that on, get that melted. And then we're going to, I chopped a medium onion.
Okay.
So I chopped that. And then we're going to put in a bag of broccoli florets.
Okay.
And that. So, and we just sauteed that for a little bit. And get this melted. The pan's going to be hot here in a moment.
And this is a good side dish. I know you make it a lot for holidays.
I do.
But you know, it's good with ham or turkey or beef.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this is a good side to any meal.
Any meal, yes. My favorite is with the ham, and that because so many times, you know, you don't have the potatoes or whatever. Okay, our butter is melted here, so we're going to add our onion.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the broccoli, and we just need to saute that a little bit. Doesn't, you know, take too long, and you know, just till we get it nice and hot.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
And this, how big of a bag was this again?
It's a pound bag.
Okay.
In there, so. And if you happen to have fresh broccoli, chop it up. Use that. You know, you don't need to, you know, just use frozen.
Okay.
But so it's like whatever you have. You know, broccoli isn't a vegetable that I'll have on hand as much as like carrots or celery or that. So
Right.
I always like to have that frozen bag of broccoli or handies too. You know, for cooking for something like this.
Sure.
And make sure you start out with a pretty good sized skillet, because till we get this in there and we add a can of cream of chicken soup, about a half a cup of milk.
Okay.
And then we're going to do the, you know, cheese in there.
Okay.
And we'll add the rice, and if you can mix it all together without making another kettle dirty or a dish, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
So let's just check here. Our rice, oh, that looks good. That'll be more than done by the time we're ready for that to go. Okay, our broccoli and onions, they've sauteed for a little bit, so
Okay.
we're ready to add a can of cream of chicken soup. That's what we're going to use. And then we're going to add about a half a cup of milk, and I just pour it in the can and, you know, help rinse the can out, and don't make another measuring cup dirty just because you want to be exact with a half a cup. It's not necessary. Okay, so I'll just pour that in here.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, like I said, this way you can clean out that.
I don't think anybody
Yeah.
cleans out cans as good as you do.
Well, yeah,
What would you do without a spatula, Mom?
I don't know. That would be pretty tough. And so we're going to get that just stirred in here a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to add, I always use Velveeta cheese for this. The original recipe said 8 ounces of cheese whiz. I never have a jar of cheese whiz in hand, and you know why? Always have Velveeta cheese.
Okay.
And it works just wonderful. I wouldn't worry about the
Well,
cheese
Velveeta, I mean,
whiz.
Velveeta is always one of those things that's so easy to melt, and it goes in so many things that.
It does, very much so. Okay, so I'm just going to take this block of cheese and I just put it on there to melt that. It melts quickly.
Okay. So that you figure this is about 8 ounces of Velveeta?
Yes, about that. You know, I might have just a smidge more here, but I can, you know, get that just covered here nicely, and again, I don't know if you can ever add too much cheese. Cheese always makes it on that. And so, like I said, it's going to melt quickly here. And then we're going to just add our rice, put it in a casserole, and bake it, you know, for 30 to 35 minutes. That's all you need. Another thing too, like I said, this is when you make it and get it ready and put it in the oven right away. Being it's really hot, it takes about 30 minutes in the oven just to heat it up. But many a times, this is one that I will do the day before. Again, you know, just to have it ready, so I have a little less to do that day. And then you're gonna, you know, adjust your baking time.
Okay. Because you just really wanted to get it heated throughout.
Yes. And sometimes, you know, when you're making that big dinner and you may not have that oven room, and you want to make sure, you know, say you're making a turkey and you take the turkey out, but, you know, about 20-30 minutes before you eat, I will actually put the casserole in the microwave, just heat it up a little bit.
Okay.
So, you know, the center's in hot.
Okay.
It doesn't take that long then to heat that up in the oven. You know, and all your dinner falls all together at the same time.
I'd need about 10 ovens going.
Okay.
One day I'll learn, right, Mom?
Oh, you will. Or else you'll just have somebody to cook for you.
I like that idea. Or you'll just live forever and I won't have to worry about it either.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's when I retire, I come out and be your cook and maid and whatever, right?
Sure. We can do that.
All right, now the side, that's all melted there. Really nice. So we're gonna take our rice and just add that in there. And we're gonna turn off the burner now because we don't need that anymore.
So most of these ingredients, easy ingredients in here, have on hand, you know, in your freezer with your broccoli, something you could put together pretty quickly as well.
It is. Yeah, it is.
I like the recipes that don't have ingredients that I have to go, okay, what department in the grocery store do I find that in?
Where do I look, and am I ever going to use it again and stuff? So, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this over and I'll have you pull out there. It'll be a little bit easier just to mix it over here.
Okay.
There, and we're going to just mix that up. And if you want to bring that casserole over. Like I said, you want to make sure you start with big enough so that you can just mix it all in one and not make extra dishes dirty.
Sure.
And also, if you have some casserole dishes or whatever that, you know, make it nice that you can bake it and put it to the table and not have to make another dish dirty too. That works out great.
Holidays are those times, though, you can show off your pretty dishes. We know how you like to do that, Mom.
Okay. So you can see this makes a nice, nice size recipe.
Okay.
And with the broccoli in there and that, I mean, you know, broccoli and cheese, how can you beat that for, you know, flavors together?
And it's amazing, you know, it's
That's
got
kind of heavy.
vegetables in there. It's one of those things that the kids like this really well.
You know, and it's good. It's healthy for them and stuff, so. Anytime you have broccoli in there, you can claim it as a health food.
Okay. Not that the cheese ixnays that at all.
No, it does not. Yeah, let's
You
see.
need a
spatula.
spatula.
All right. I'll just get that all in there.
Do you know who the person was that invented the spatula?
I do not.
Oh, I just figured you'd know that.
Oh. Well, maybe you're expecting to say. No, you
They knew that they had you in mind when they made that utensil.
When you were asking that question, it sounded like you knew this and you.
No, I'll research that for the next show. I'll surprise you with the right answer.
Oh, okay. All right, so we'll put the lid on that, and then we're gonna just pop that in the oven and bake that with our souffle.
All right.
Okay, and I'm gonna just put that oven on, or the timer on, for 30 minutes, and we should be just fine.
All right. Sounds
All right.
great.
You know, I was going to tell you too, I did do a little research too, because I kind of expected you to ask me, okay, what's the difference between sweet potatoes and yams?
Oh,
You know.
okay. I didn't think of that question,
You
but
didn't think, and because you know, you hear somebody say yams, and you think, oh, kind of like this sweet potato. It's way, way different. You know, your sweet potato has a nice smooth skin to it, yellow center. Your yams are more tubular shaped. They have a really rough outside skin.
okay.
And the meat or the part of the yam, it's white, and it doesn't
Oh.
have quite as good a flavor as a sweet potato, and that. So that's
I
the
was
difference.
thinking they were both orange.
Yeah, you know, when I've had bought some in the cans, and sometimes they have said yams, and it is a little lighter color, and I wonder if they don't add a little bit of different coloring in it, because researching that on the internet, the yam was certainly white. You know,
Interesting.
Reminded me more of like a rutabaga or something like
Okay.
that. So that's our lesson first.
Trivia for today.
That's right.
Next
Okay.
week, spatula.
Spatula. Well,
Maker of the spatula.
for our next cooking show, you're going to have to come up with this inventor of the spatula.
I will get on it.
Okay. Okay, I think our side dishes are ready, so let's check them out, and we'll take them out of the oven.
Okay.
And, okay, ooh, that looks.
It looks like dessert. It doesn't look like.
Oh, look at that. And just put in this trivet, and what's nice with this, you can just set this right on the table.
Oh,
And I don't have to
you
make
could
an
work for QVC.
I think I could sell for them. Okay.
Smells wonderful.
Don't they smell good?
They do.
And you
That
smell
smells like
this?
dessert.
Yeah, but it's the vegetables, so you can have 2 helpings. You won't have to feel guilty. And
Okay.
so we'll just feature a little bit here.
Oh, it is
Oh.
piping hot.
It is very hot. And you know, when we had to mix that up and stuff, it looked like it was pretty soft. But you know, it has a nice, you know, consistency. It's not a runny
Okay.
dish at all. So we're gonna have that, and we're gonna add some of our broccoli rice onto that. Just.
Ugh.
And you know, I think you could almost just, like you said, almost make a meal of this just by itself.
You could. Absolutely.
so-
I mean, great side dishes to any
Yeah.
meat.
It'll enhance
Chicken,
any
ham,
ham.
turkey,
Yeah.
beef. I mean,
Yeah. And you know, there's chicken breasts. You know, people are making chicken breasts. You know, they're grilling them. Maybe they're putting them in their George Foreman grill or whatever.
Sure.
And so you don't have the, you know, juices or whatever to make gravies or whatever. So you need a side dish.
Right.
And this will beat rice-a-roni any day.
Absolutely. May take a little bit more time in prep, but not a lot.
Not a lot, but it's worth it.
Yes.
It's worth it.
It's
you know,
worth
and
it.
that's what you got to look at.
You know, and we were, the nice thing about today's age, we were on a smartphone earlier. Don't have to wait till next show. The inventor of the spatula was Mr. Spatula himself in 1798. Originally was supposed to be a fly swatter.
That That's a good trivia question, is that not?
Mr. Spatula, who would have thought?
So it was.
Should have just made that up and I would have been right.
Yeah.
Because who would have thought it?
Yeah, who would have think to look it up on a smartphone and actually know I can punch it in? Who invented the spatula?
Mr. Spatula, 1798 from Hungary.
Oh, from Hungary, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So
Well, at
hopefully he
least-
wasn't using the flies he was trying to kill in anything he made.
Yeah, or the spatula after he killed the fly for the extra flavoring in the side dish.
Let's just not go there.
Okay.
To get these recipes, and thank you, Aunt Joe, for submitting your souffle here, and Mom, your broccoli rice dish, always a great hit.
And you know, if I really want to admit it, this comes from Aunt Joe way, way back too.
Well, Aunt Joe, who knew?
Yeah.
She's a great cook, like all Mom's family. To get these recipes, just go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com. And right now, through the end of March, if you submit your recipes to Consolidated, your name will go into the drawing for a KitchenAid mixer. Mom has had this one since 1987. They're wonderful machines. You don't have one? Get your name in, submit some recipes. We'll cook them for you, share them with everyone else. As always, thank you to the Workshop for being our sponsor. Have a great day.